Thinking about starting your own podcast? Think it's a good idea that you try Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. And Anchor gives you everything you need in one place. And the best part is that it's free. And the other best part is you can use it right from your phone or your computer. And I've been using it from my phone this entire time. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it really sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast, and there's no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks on thyroid. If you guys are suffering from an underactive thyroid, maybe your thyroid is working too much, too hard, you're taking medications that are man-made medications, and you're trying to take control of your thyroid. My suggestion to you is to first talk to your doctor about slowly getting off the medication. Your doctor might think that this is a crazy idea, but if your doctor does think that's a crazy idea, you need to consider switching doctors, because your doctor always needs to be open to you changing your medication. And I have found that, me personally, I believe that taking man-made medication is not for me, and found that my thyroid is actually one of the best and key components to living a healthy life. And some tips that I want to give you guys are, first, to stay away from caffeine. Caffeine does not do any good for our bodies. It makes our heart beat faster. And if you suffer from an underactive thyroid, if your thyroid seems to be not working right, then you're going to get these heart palpitations. You seem like to be out of breath quite often, or trying to catch your breath, so you have to be careful of those things. And like I said, when you want to talk to your doctor about getting off of this medication and taking more natural substances, then you'll find yourself talking to more of like a naturopathy type person. And when I give you guys a couple of these books that you can read and you can listen to, or there's a couple YouTube videos on testimonials of people who have actually stopped taking their medication. And I don't mean cold turkey, just stop taking it, because that can, your body can kind of go into shock a little bit, and it'll be harder for you to do. And also keep in mind that when you do get off this medication, it is going to be a long journey, a long road ahead. You have these mood swings, you have your anxiety and your depression that you think are, an added factor to this, or you can't sleep at night, which is something that I had a terrible time with, which is why I took on smoking cannabis. So if you're somebody who does suffer from insomnia because of it, I suggest ingesting some sort of CBD or some sort of cannabis product, and you can hear me talk about that before. And like I said, the first thing I was mentioning was caffeine, so you want to try to take that out. You really want to try to eliminate that, and I do not mean taking diet. That is 10 times worse for you, because that is 100% man-made chemicals that are going into your body, and that's why you're addicted to Diet Coke more than you are regular Coke. And the sugars, you can replace the sugars with fruits. There's all kinds of fruits that you can eat, like strawberries and blueberries and raspberries. And yes, hands down, all the sugars from these types of fruits are good for you. It's hard to believe that people are actually saying that it's not good for you. It's not good for you if it is chemically infused, to keep bugs away and things like that, or whatever is sprayed on the plants. Then yes, it is bad for you. But if you're growing it yourself, then these types of nutrients are good for you to be consuming. So that's that. First thing is to remember, or the second thing to remember is, your thyroid can be healed as long as you are taking care of yourself every day. So you're treating yourself, you're telling your thyroid it's healing. The sun is always good because you're getting vitamin D. And you want to, you always want to soak in the sun, and you want to make sure you're obviously keeping yourself protected, your skin protected when you're taking in the sun. And if you're a spiritual person, you will, you can believe that you have the ability to, let the sun give you, some good energy, give your thyroid good energy. And as long as you're surrounding yourself with good people that are giving you some good energy, then your thyroid is going to take that in as well. And something that I learned when I was also reading in a book called Thyroid Healing. This is connected to Medical Medium, which is from author Anthony William. This is where I got a lot of my information from. And I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours about what he said, but I figured I would just kind of give you guys a shorter segment on what's important to keep your thyroid healthy, and that, overall, if you do the research, which we have nothing but time really right now, to be looking into stuff like that, give yourself a half hour every day to look into natural substances that help, what your thyroid really is all about, what you can do to naturally heal your thyroid, because it is possible. Don't let the doctor tell you that it's not. Don't let him tell you, or him or her tell you have to be on this medication, because this is something your thyroid can heal itself. Just like if you believe your body can heal itself, then this is, they can do it. And even if your thyroid is still gone, this is something they still talk about. If your thyroid is missing, this is a concern. It's still there in good spirit. You're still able to use the nutrients that you're still giving your body. And as long as you can follow a good healthy diet, and I'm not talking about, taking all this out of your diet and removing that and adding this, that's not what this is about. This is about really, in the beginning, taking care of yourself, making sure that you're giving your thyroid, extra nutrients along the way, because it's going to be a struggle, and you're going to find things that work and things that don't work, and you're going to find foods you really like and foods you really don't like. Because one of the things they suggest on there is that you drink celery juice. If you have tried celery juice, and I have heard thousands of people say it is absolutely disgusting, it is terrible to drink, but I'm going to tell you what, it is the biggest detoxifier that you will ever drink in your life. You will feel absolutely fantastic once you drink it, because it really cleans your system out. And as long as you're drinking lots and lots of water, this will really, really benefit you. And I will give you guys a couple of things that I was told that is very important to remember. Like I said, making sure that you believe, your thyroid is powerful. You have the ability to heal your thyroid. Your body has the ability to give yourself, the nutrients to do it. You just have to believe in yourself. Everybody can do it. Your thyroid is not the problem. This all begins in your gut, so you want to make sure, again, you're absorbing all the natural foods. You're not eating canned food, box food, the chicken you want to eat all natural, all organic food. I know it can be kind of expensive, but you want to do everything you can to stick with those kinds of foods. It's just unfortunate, that we're not provided with these types of things as easily and as readily as we should be. You want your body to fight off toxins, right? So what I suggest to you, this is a tip from me, and once again, remember, this is not by any means medical advice. I'm just giving my opinion, my feeling. If you believe me, or if you want to believe me, if you want to take some of my advice, go ahead. I hope that you do, because it has been working for me. So the other thing is intermittent fasting. So what you want to do is you want to fast for 18 hours, and then you want to eat for 6 hours. And in that 6-hour eating window, you only want to be eating any fruits or vegetables, but you also want to be getting your proteins, because you haven't been eating for 18 hours. My suggestion is you start every week. You start with 3 new foods that you want to eat that you can try incorporating into your diet, and then maybe the next week trying another 3 new foods, or if you're trying to incorporate, which is recommended, some very healing foods for your thyroid is zinc and iodine. Now remember, this is something that I have suffered from gym for over 10 years, so I know I've been in and out of, intermittent fasting has been hands down one of the best things for me to do. Not intaking caffeine, alcohol. It depends. As long as you're taking it in moderation, it doesn't affect you. Like I said, as long as you're not getting wasted every day. And you're taking it in good quantities. And if you're trying to remove caffeine, sugars, all these other foods that are bad for you, dairy is a big one for me. Dairy isn't always an issue for everyone. Some people actually can handle intaking dairy, but I found it makes me bloated. It makes my throat, kind of swell up a little bit, harder for me to talk, and I really have to drink a lot of water. So those are really big things. And something I've just started taking is the zinc and the iodine. And if you take those together, those are very powerful. You can actually get those from different foods, which a lot of the foods that have it in it, I listed some of the foods, and I can name off some of those, but some of the big things are onions, spinach, romaine lettuce, sprouts, and you want to get fish can sometimes have the zinc in there, which is really important, and there's Atlantic veggies, pretty much all the greens you can think of, cucumbers, asparagus is really good for you. Corn necessarily isn't that good for you. I think people have kind of gotten the idea that corn isn't the best, but it's not necessarily something bad. You got kelp, kale, and spinach and kale and things like that. You can even put those in smoothies with bananas and blueberries and blueberries and strawberries. Those are always good. Mangoes are really good for you. Really any of the fruits, again, and I said the greens, all that stuff is really good for you. Take out the caffeine, do some intermittent fasting, add the zinc, add the iodine to your diet, and really try to exercise every day. And I don't mean vigorous exercise, but try to give yourself some time to meditate, talk to your thyroid a little bit, give it some sunshine, give it some vitamin D, and also make sure you're stretching. There are several books that I'll give you guys the links, and I'll give you guys the YouTube video that you can check out, and you can see people that have done this 90-day rehab. It starts, they're weaning off the medication, they're adding in this celery juice, this intermittent fasting, they're taking out the caffeine, the dairy, they're removing all these, this inappropriateness to your body. And I really want you guys to kind of, everybody nowadays is not really interested in looking and reading and, trying to hear, help me and get me paid, or, you can help me get paid by, clicking on this link and starting this company. I'm not telling you guys this. I'm literally telling you guys this because it's important information. And I think that people, a lot of people can relate to this, and it might not be the absolute best advice in the world, but it's stuff that has worked for me. And, and like I said, I was pretty much blinded by the medication and taking this medication. And you can, like I said, I will put these links in here. You guys look in the description. You can take this information for yourself. You can read the book, and in the book, it's the Thyroid Healing book. There's multiple other books. It's not just about your thyroid and this virus that they talk about in this book. It's also about taking care of yourself and healing yourself, and it becomes very spiritual in the end, surrounding yourself with good energy, which is always hands down the best thing to do. And I'm going to tell people that until I'm blue in the face. Taking care of yourself is number one, the best thing to do. No matter if you think it's selfish or not, it's not selfish. It's hands down the best thing to do, because taking care of yourself means that you're good enough to be here for other people, and it's not going to be a chore for you and to take care of people. It's not even going to be about taking care, but taking care of yourself is always important. And to remember the spiritual side of things, and to also remember to, put things into your body, and also give yourself time to detoxify and things like that. it's very important to keep those things in mind. If there's anything else that you guys want to know, I typically try to keep most of my podcasts pretty short because, like I said, people, for the most part, don't have, all the time in the world to just sit and listen to hear someone blab. If you guys are more interested in more of things that I do, like my routines, morning routines, and things like that, you can ask me, you can contact me. I have my website. It's just connectionswithkt.com. You can get with me on there, and I also will have, you can sign up with email, and I'll update you on my blog posts and things like that. I typically write 2 to 5 blog posts a week, just to update you and kind of like what I'm doing, what's going on, what I find interesting in this quarantine and stuff like that. Thanks for tuning in, guys.